coming up very shortly on World of Sport. On the Ball with Ian St John and Jimmy Greaves. That includes some thrilling Milk Cup action, a footballing great struggling for success in management, and the trip of a lifetime for the Scottish part-timers of Meadowbank Thistle. Well, On the Ball is going to bounce your way very shortly. But now it's time for the lunchtime news from ITN, and your newsreader is John Suchet.
The Irish Navy and police have caught a trawler running American arms and ammunition to the IRA. Security sources say the haul is very large, and 2 well-known members of the IRA are among the 5 men arrested. They gave up without a fight when the Irish escort ship, the Emer, fired tracer shots across their bows early this morning. The trawler, the Martina Anne, was stopped near the Skellig Rocks off County Kerry. She's now sailing under escort to the Irish naval base at Holbow Line off Cork. Apparently she'd been under surveillance from 200 miles out after a rendezvous with an American ship. The Martina Anne's expected to be brought into the naval base at Cobb Island in Cork Harbour late this afternoon. Forensic experts and detectives are waiting there. The American FBI helped in the arms seizure, apparently the biggest since the Cypriot-registered coaster, the Claudia, was intercepted 11 years ago off the Waterford coast with arms and explosives from Libya. The Irish Prime Minister, Dr. Garret FitzGerald, was kept informed of last night's developments, and he's said to be delighted by the security success. The Soviet Foreign Minister, Mr. Andrei Gromyko, has said he detected no change in American foreign policy during yesterday's talks with President Reagan. He said the Soviet Union will continue to judge the real intentions of the United States by its practical deeds. After the talks, the American Secretary of State, Mr. George Shultz, who meets Mr. Gromyko himself later today, gave the U.S. reaction.
The meeting was a very strong personal interchange between 2 individuals.
What do you mean by strong?
Forceful and direct.
Do you believe that this meeting today in any way advanced the cause of peace? Was Mr. Gromyko constructive?
In my opinion, the meeting definitely advanced the cause of peace.
Did it clear the air as far as you're concerned?
Well, clear the air. There are there's lots of distrust, there's lots of apprehension, there are lots of differences of opinion, and I don't think one discussion is going to clear the air completely.
At a White House reception later, Mr. Gromyko is reported to have said to Mrs. Nancy Reagan, "Every night whisper peace in your husband's ear." Mrs. Reagan, according to her press secretary, replied, "I'll also whisper it in your ear." Leaders of 3 power supply unions today confirmed they'd go on supporting the striking miners. Yesterday, the 9 unions involved in the power stations failed to agree on a united campaign. But today, the transport, general and municipal and engineering unions said they'd continue to give the miners full backing. The Sun newspaper failed to appear today after print workers objected to an editorial on yesterday's attack on police at Silverwood Colliery in Yorkshire. The Sun had said the miners involved were the scum of the earth. The Christian Relief and Development Association, which represents 26 organizations, has sent an open message to governments and the United Nations about the famine in Ethiopia. It says the present food shortage there is the worst in living memory. A Labour MP has described yesterday's sentence on the hit-and-run driver who dumped her baby's body after an accident as woefully inadequate. Mr. Greville Janner says he'll raise the matter in the Commons. The car driver, Mr. Alan Locke, was fined £500 and banned from driving for 3 years. He had no licence and no insurance at the time of the accident. The condition of Britain's longest surviving heart transplant patient, Mr. Keith Castle, is said to be satisfactory after being readmitted to hospital, complaining of feeling unwell. That's it from us. Back now to World of Sport and Jim Rosenthal.
John, thank you very much indeed. Well, next on World of Sport, it's On the Ball, and the Saint and Greasy have lined up a really action-packed programme for you.
In On the Ball today, Milk Cup action from around the country with last season's beaten finalists Everton setting the mood with a marvellous fight back at Sheffield United. In Scotland, we travel with one-time works team Meadowbank Thistle on their trip of a lifetime to meet mighty Rangers at Ibrox in the Skull Cup semi-final. And we join former England hero Bobby Moore at Crisis-torn Southend United, from World Cup captain to 4th Division battler. We bring you last night's exclusive report. Hello there. Bobby Moore still searching for success, and interestingly enough, in today's programme, 3 of his World Cup teammates' clubs are also featured. Jack Charlton's Newcastle United, Alan Ball's Portsmouth, and Nobby Stiles' West Bromwich, something I think will interest another old teammate of theirs, Jimmy Greaves.
Yes, it's nice to see some of the lads gainfully employed, Saint, unlike some of us. Desperate jobs and all that sort of thing.
Well, the old class of '66, it's nice to see at least 3 of them are still employed. Nick,
yeah, 3 of them are still employed, the rest of us are struggling like mad, but there you go, that's life, isn't it?
The rest of them are just millionaires now. But now for our Milk Cup action, and we start with the 2 teams who had the whole country talking about them following their fantastic 5-5 draw at Loftus Road last week, Queen's Park Rangers and Newcastle United. Now, both managers had reservations about the result, but the fans certainly seemed to enjoy it. Well, in midweek, both were at it again, Rangers at York and Newcastle home to Bradford.
Gary Bannister's been given a lot of room here as he tries to work an opening for himself, gets in the shot and scores. Roger Jones would be disappointed with that, it went in off him. Byrne has the quality of a first division striker. He's looking to unlock the Rangers offside trap. I think he's done it. The flag stays down. Keith Houchin scrambles it home. York are level, 1-1. Well, Faraday's made a good strong break here, pursued by Evans. And the referee says he pulled him back and points to the penalty spot. So right on the stroke of half-time, Terry Fenwick makes it 2-1 to Rangers. Corner here for York. That's not really a strong enough header out. Micklewhite, and now Hazelgrave to knock it back in. Keith Walwyn, yes! Walwyn makes it 2-2, York are back in it. Oh, good strong run here by Faraday, who gets the third, a brilliant piece of opportunism. And Gary Bannister's been given a lot of room. York pay the penalty, 4-2, and Bannister gets his second.
As for Newcastle United, they were again in the goal mood against Bradford City on Wednesday. Neil MacDonald out-jumping goalkeeper Eric McManus, 1-0, 3 minutes before half-time. But it was Chris With, number 3 here, a former Newcastle player, whose clever work 2 minutes into the second half sent Terry Gray sprinting clear for a calmly taken equaliser. And it was still 1-1 when the Newcastle substitute Paul Ferris was brought on, and he was to turn the match. From Chris Waddle's flick, Ferris, a Northern Ireland youth international, claiming a splendid first senior goal 10 minutes from the end. And there was still time for the famous Glen Roeder shuffle, which paved the way for Newcastle's third. Kenny Wharton darting through to give Jack Charlton's side a cushion for the second leg with a 3-1 win.
Well, there you are, Greaves. Both teams banging the goals in, and just to revert back to that 5-5 game last Saturday, both managers, as I said, got into that, you know, had different viewpoints on the result.
They did, didn't they? Well, Big Jack, as a defender, would have looked at it as a disaster, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Letting in 5, but then that's Big Jack's mentality, isn't it? You know, don't let the ball get in, the players in, the crowd in, or anything. Yeah. Whereas Mullers would have loved it. Alan was an attacking player, so he would have loved the goals going in. Mind you, if Big Jack had got 10 grouse, he'd have been very happy, wouldn't he?
Yeah, that's right. But, I mean, I looked at that result and I thought, marvellous, it must have been great for the fans. I mean, how do you view that?
That's right. Well, it was great for the fans. You can't argue about goals in matches, don't matter how they're scored or whatever. But as I say, if you look at it from a defender's point of view, I suppose they've got a case. But for us forwards, great.
Great for the forwards, lovely. Well, still in the Milk Cup, one club with a tough task were last season's beaten finalists Everton, who faced Sheffield United at Bramall Lane. A difficult first leg, but the Merseysiders in the end proved up to it.
Oh, good skill from Arnott, and a lovely ball here. Joe Bolton. Oh, is he brought down by the penalty? Yes! It'll be Colin Morris against Neville Southall. And Morris wins! 1-0 to the Blades. Now Sheedy's cross. Sharp's coming in and gets the goal. The equaliser from Graham Sharp. Edwards onside, surely. It must be 2 for Sheffield. It certainly is. Haley leads the protests to the linesman. The referee will come across and have a word. For the moment, it looks as though Sheffield are 2-1 ahead. But let's see what happens now. It's a goal. Everton trail 2-1, but they have a free kick here. On real trouble, and is that ball over the line? It is. According to the referee, Derek Mountfield's header crept over the line, and Everton are back on level terms again.
Well, Everton fighting back there, and today they're away again, this time against Watford, the team they beat in last year's FA Cup final. Now, Watford surprisingly propping up the First Division, although last week a bit unlucky, I thought, to lose at Norwich.
Devine, Dean, come off Terry, penalty! He struck him on the arm, and referee Jim Ashworth had no hesitation in awarding the penalty to Norwich. So Dean has the task again of beating Steve Sherwood. He scored. And John Dean has given Norwich the lead. Barnes is involved, so is Callahan. Both can certainly strike a ball from that sort of distance. Here's Barnes off the defender. Johnston. 1-1. Callahan then with the corner. And it's in from Terry. Steve Terry has scored, and Watford have taken the lead. Quickly missed. Bruce got a second chance. Sherwood touching at it. Dean. Sherwood couldn't hold on to it, and John Dean has scored his second of the game, and how he relishes playing against Watford. So Terry, now Dean. Over the line before Gordon can touch it in, and John Dean has scored a hat-trick.
Well, Steve Sherwood seems to have lost his confidence, Jim, and in fact, in midweek, Graham Taylor went out and bought Tony Cotton for 300,000, so...
A lot of money.
Yeah, probably bolster the defence a little bit today. Now, turning to one of the big matches of the day, certainly in the Midlands, West Bromwich against Manchester United. Now, this is a game that Big Atco doesn't fancy too much.